you gotta understand something, about smoking. Like I said, I really do wish nobody smoked. I mean, like I said, I kind of almost wish I'd never started smoking, and I certainly don't mind, raising the smoking age to 21, because I actually didn't start taking up smoking as a habit until I was like 22. So, um, but at least I was a mature adult making that decision. I had my first cigarette, when I was 19, but I really didn't touch the things. My mom was always a smoker, and she kind of wore me off. But one of my friends taught me into it. Having a couple of cigarettes. But really, I mean, I had like 3 or 4 cigarettes or something like that. From from the time I was 19 to the time I was 21, 22. But it wasn't until I was 22 I started smoking, and I did ironically start smoking. Um, because I'd go to dance clubs, nightclubs, and I didn't want to stand around because I didn't like dancing that much. But I was trying to get chicks and girls and stuff. I mean, I didn't want to like standing around looking like I was doing nothing. So if you're smoking, hey, it looked like you're standing there being cool anyway. That's really why I started smoking. It's because of that, and then it became a habit from there. I started doing it at home, and then when I was driving, and trying to hide it from my mom at first, but then I started finally doing it when I was at home, and she was pissed when she found out. But still, I was certainly over 21. But I was still living with her at the time because I was going to, TJC or whatnot. But the fact of the matter is that still, I gotta say, it has its minuses, but I can't completely say I wish I'd never started smoking, because I'll tell you why. What I discovered is that, okay, smoking, if it weren't for smoking, I'd probably be living in a cardboard box today. Now, I've, in all fairness, been one step out of a cardboard box, but that's a different story entirely. It has nothing to do with smoking. But when I used to have a job, okay, and back then, and it allowed smoking on the job. And I swear to God, I could never stand punching a clock. I just couldn't. I'd crawl out of my skin. I mean, even though be able to smoke on the job most of the time, and I smoked back when I was 22, 23, when I first started smoking. But yeah, I mean, I just crawl out of my skin watching the clock every day. I just couldn't stand it. I just couldn't stand punching a clock. I've got one of those, hyper creative attitudes, and it's just, I don't know. It's hard to describe. But the thing is that about a year or so later, I got a different job. Now that job didn't allow smoking on the job, so but they did allow you to go take a 15-20 minute smoke break every 2 hours. Okay, oh my God, and those were 10-hour shifts I was working 4 nights a week, and sometimes 5 nights a week due to overtime. But my productivity, I became one of the most productive workers in that department because of those smoke breaks. Just being able to get away from it every couple of hours for 15 or 20 minutes, it made all the difference in the world. My productivity soared, and I actually, liked my job. But that's the first job I had that, I ever liked, despite the hours I was working. But like I said, even part-time jobs before that I could never stand, even back when I was not a smoker. Oh man, I couldn't stand any job. It just made me go out of my freaking mind. But when I started working at that company, oh man, it made all the difference in the world. It did. I went from being an unproductive worker to a very productive worker because of that. And I guarantee freaking to you, I would have been living in a cardboard box all these years if it weren't for that. But I'd never have risen, become a good employee, so I can go out and eventually become an employer, having a couple $1 million flow through my accounts and everything else, back in my successful business days when I went into business for myself. Um, but the fact of the matter is, I wish I would have stopped like I wanted to. I wanted to stop smoking, and I almost did back before they started raising cigarette taxes, because I was down to less than a pack a day. I mean, I was just treating myself off smoking, because I've just heard so many stories of people that quit smoking cold turkey, and then 10 years later they get lung cancer. I mean, I'm wondering if the shell shock of stopping smoking play some kind of havoc on your genes and actually leads to cancer. So I mean, I don't like the idea of quitting something like that cold turkey. It's better just to intrude off of it over a period of 1 or 2 years. Um, or so. And I was in the process of doing that before they raised taxes. But since then, I've kind of become a smoking advocate, and my smoking rate's gone way back up. But the fact of the matter is that that's what cigarette taxes did for me. Because like I said, smoking was becoming unfashionable before that, and you know, um, my mom was diagnosed with emphysema and stuff like that for smoking, but she's still kicking today. I mean, apparently it's not progressive. I don't know why, but I thought emphysema always meant that you're going to end up on oxygen in 5 years and then die. Because honestly, somebody at CEI, that job that I liked, what I took smoke breaks on, actually had emphysema, was on oxygen, and he died um, because of smoking. And it's bad. It does kill you. I mean, I'm very, very well aware of that, but I still say, I'm an advocate for our right to smoke because, frankly, that is our decision to make, and it doesn't kill everybody. It doesn't. I mean, there's some people that are pretty much smoke until they're 90 and they die of something else. So, you know, um, it doesn't kill everybody, but for the most part, overall, I know it's a bad thing. Again, just to give a sobering reality onto it, but to my take on it, I'm not oblivious to smoking, but the fact of the matter is, it's something that's here. It's something that we can legally do, and we should be able to legally do, because it's still our decision. And if we want to live a hedonistic lifestyle, that's our prerogative, because some people like living their life that way. Some people, and even from my own perspective, it's like I said, I would probably be in a cardboard box today, and I would, if I didn't smoke, and I would way the fuck rather be, live a short, higher quality life than a long, miserable life any day. Any day. And like I said, and some smokers are hedonistic, and they live life for today, and worry about tomorrow, when tomorrow comes. But that's fine. That's our prerogative. That's freedom. That's freedom to live your life that way. If that's what you want to do, that's America. You're supposed to have the right. And most smokers too also have other unhealthy habits. Like they eat salty foods and and fatty foods and all that stuff. And that's fine. That's America. And there are some people that are like that, and you got to understand, there's some people that like skydiving too, because they're adrenaline junkies. Well, skydiving's not for everybody. I mean, I'd shit my pants. But the fact of the matter is that some people like that, and I support those people, even though skydiving kills plenty of people too, and it's a preventable death. So it's race car driving or any of these other adrenaline sports. Football. A lot of injuries and concussions and deaths. Result from major sports. And that's preventable. But the fact of the matter is that I still very much support the right for people to do that, even though I'm not a big sports nut. The fact of the matter is, even though it does piss me off when it interrupts my news or other programming sometimes, though that does irritate me. But the fact of the matter is that I still support people's if that's their entertainment and what they want to do, that's their prerogative. That's America. That's what freedom's all about, whether you agree with it or not. So I mean, personally, I think people all should have a more productive hobby than being so absorbed in sports. Do something that increases your mind. Be more of an intellectual. But that's just not for everybody. It's not everybody's cup of tea. So, and I support people's right to be like that. So, and it's the same with smoking. Because you're basically talking about hedonism, versus all the healthcare nuts or whatever that are out there. Well, there are always going to be heathens among us. And that's freedom, because we're not all alike. That's why communism doesn't work, because communism demands that we all be like a colony of ants. That's what the whole concept behind communism is. It is. And frankly, we're not ants. We're all different. And because of that, things like communism won't work, just like this anti-smoking thing is a bad thing. Because, it's not something that like, drinking and driving, or, alcohol or marijuana or whatever, that can, kill innocent bystanders. But again, this secondhand smoke thing, where's the numbers? Where's the statistics counting the success of them eliminating all that smoking in public places? Because that should have basically solved a large fraction of the secondhand smoke issue, shouldn't it? Why aren't they touting the success of that? But in any event, that's where I come, kind of coming from on this issue, is that it's just a matter of freedom. It really is. And that's why I support people's right to smoke. And this tax bullshit, it's got to stop. Enough's enough.